feeling. This place is jumping off hard as it can get. No, we won't ever stop dancing on the edge. We like it dangerous, we like to see you spread. Turn up another notch, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let me tell you something, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, let me tell you something. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Got a real good feeling. Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. I got a real good feeling.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be doing some Bitcoin technical analysis because there has been a major update on the Bitcoin chart. In fact, for the first time in the last several months, Bitcoin has set a new higher high on the daily chart, and the reason this is important is because for a rally to begin, you first have to set a higher high, then you can set a higher low, then you can start moving to the upside. We have just made short-term history, if you will, and I'm very excited to bring you some Bitcoin TA today. We are going to be talking about where Bitcoin might go next, and I think you guys are going to be very interested in what we have to say. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Kinda Crypto Tim. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good, man. It was a good weekend, so
Same here.
Glad to be back. Almost didn't even have this show though because of
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, and you would think it literally right as we fix one technical difficulty,
Another
a
one shows
brand
up.
new one that has never surfaced in ever rears its head.
We've literally never
stupid.
had this one. We've literally never had this one technical difficulty. It's really dumb. And no, this one was not Smay's fault. It's completely not. All the other ones are, though, Smay. I'm sorry, though. How are you doing, Smay? Welcome to the show.
I have no mic.
Oh, yeah, he has no mic. I forgot about that. That's another one of the technical difficulties that we're dealing with. But you know what's not a technical difficulty is the new office and the new set and the new studio that we're going to be moving into in under a month. On August 27th, that is move-in day. And Smay, could we potentially have someone film that and make like a dope montage video out of the move-in? Is that something that we could do? Sounds like that's something that we could do. So give us a 1 in chat if that's something that you would like to see, because we got some amazing content coming up over the next couple of weeks and months for you guys. Make sure to smash that like button if you haven't already. We got some TA that we need to jump into, and we're also going to be talking about what's going on Capitol Hill. We're going to talk a little bit about El Salvador, and we got a few more things we're going to dive into a little bit later. So let's go ahead and jump on to the chart. Guys, there have been some technical difficulties on Bitcoin over the last 3 days because Bitcoin has corrected from where it rallied to on Friday of around $42,500. We rallied up here, and that is a very good thing, but yes, we have, in fact, corrected ever since the beginning of Saturday. But the first thing that I need to point out is this trend line right here. Notice this flat level of resistance on Bitcoin. This is set back on the 15th of June at $40,700, and the reason that it is so incredibly critical is because it was the most recent major high that Bitcoin had set. up until that time, we had seen lower highs right here, lower highs, lower highs. 3 of them, in fact. 3 major lower highs, and they were signaling that Bitcoin was in a downtrend. But now we have set a new higher high on the daily chart, and that is a new precedent, because if we want to move into an uptrend, we got to see higher highs and higher lows. Now we've seen the higher high, now we just need to see the higher low, and we might be about to see that pretty soon. Zooming into the 4-hourly chart, we can see that Bitcoin has been rejecting for the last 48 hours and change. Ever since we hit our top here on the 31st of July, we have been pulling to the downside for the last day and a half. In fact, we pulled back 8.2%. A lot of people are very concerned about this. A lot of people are worried, like, hey, Jeb, look, Bitcoin just corrected 8.5% in a day and a half. Is that a problem? Should we be concerned about Bitcoin? I'm here to tell you, no, absolutely not. You shouldn't be concerned about this, and there's a very good reason why. Bitcoin has rallied a massive amount in the last 2 weeks. In fact, ever since we bottomed out at $29,500 on the 21st of July, we rallied 43% in the span of 10 days. Looking at the TD sequential, we can see that Bitcoin got massively overextended. We hit a 9 flash on the TD sequential. We rallied pretty far outside of the Bollinger Bands. Lux Algo is incredibly bullish, but even that would tell you, like, hey guys, we need to calm down a little bit. We need to pump the brakes. So yes, we needed a correction. This has been a very healthy thing so far. Make no mistake, a 10% correction after a 40% rally is not a bad thing. It's not the end of the rally. It is currently simply healthy consolidation that we should be happy about. But I do want to remind you of something, and that's what Lux Algo is saying, because Lux Algo is showing a strong buy signal for the first time in 3 months. The last time we saw a buy signal on Lux Algo was in April. It is now August. This is a very good sign for anyone looking for long-term upwards potential. And by the way, guys, if you haven't already signed up for Lux Algo, you should. The link is in the description box down below. If you use coupon code JEB, J-E-B-B, you'll get 20% off at checkout. Now, there's a few more things I want to talk about here on Bitcoin, and they all show up down on the 4-hourly chart. Bitcoin currently, even though it's in a correction, still has a series of higher highs and higher lows. I'm going to clean this chart up just a little bit, and what I want to show you is this. We see 3 lows right here, and we also see 4 highs right here. All of them are higher than their previous counterparts. We've seen 1, 2, 3 higher lows and 1, 2, 3, 4 higher highs. That indicates that even on the 4-hourly chart, we are in an uptrend. Now, if we do start seeing Bitcoin pull back below the bottom of around $38,500, then yes, we would technically be in a 4-hour downtrend, but I am expecting that to happen. In fact, I personally think that we're going to see Bitcoin pull back down to this $36,500 to $37,500 region. And the reason is, we just had a massive rally. Bitcoin has not seen a massive rally happen in quite some time, and in this case, I think that Bitcoin needs to reset just a little bit more. I think 8.5% might not have been quite enough. I'd like to see Bitcoin pull back 10, 12, 13, 14%. And doing so would pull us back down to this level. So there's 2 major levels of support at play right now. There's this level based on this low here on the 30th of July. This one is at $38,500. And then we also have a level of support right here at $36,500. I'm expecting that Bitcoin is going to pull back somewhere in this region, probably do something like a double or a triple bottom, and then we're going to rally. But the point here is that this small correction is just a smaller movement that is nested inside of the longer term uptrend. I think in the long run, Bitcoin is moving to the upside here. I want to hear what you guys think about that in chat. There's a few more things I want to cover here on Bitcoin, but first, I want to also hear what Tim thinks. What do you think? Where are we going next, Tim?
This is a great question, and the price predictions are back for this Friday, so we'll be answering those at the end of the stream. Nice.
No one saw that.
Man, I'm watching even what you're doing in lag, because obviously I don't get to see what's on your computer live. I get to see it like 20 seconds later on YouTube, because Jeb and I did not sit down this morning and go over technical analysis. So normally we do some of that, but this morning we didn't. Oh, goodness me. Oh my gosh, man. It's May's making poop jokes in the corner. So I don't know. I'm struggling to see exactly what you're thinking. I'm following your logic, your reasoning. I don't know if I have the experience enough to see in the technicals why I believe it would pull back down to 36. Not that I think that would be impossible, obviously. I have a sneaky suspicion that this is simply, if you're following Wyckoff's thing, we're actually going to be kind of consolidating here around this $40,000 level, because we've been bouncing above it, coming back below, bouncing above it, and that has to do with the sign of strength, and then testing the sales points, the levels of supply, which I think is what's happening right now as a shakeout before we see a massive bull rally. But let me keep thinking about that during the stream, and we'll give our predictions at the end.
Yeah, let's do it. So, guys, we also have a super chat looking like it's from Liberty Above All. Donated $10. Said, let's get this party started. Looking forward to some morning TA. Time to burst through resistance. Drive a +1 Liberty Above All in chat. Kicking off the week with a super chat. Thank you very much for that, Liberty. Also, guys, make sure to smash that like button if you haven't already. We got some more technical analysis that we want to do here because there's actually something else I'm seeing on the daily chart that might be of interest to you, and that is this. There is currently a spinning top showing up on the daily chart. This is a signal that is coming in based on a long lower shadow and a long upper shadow. We also see right here that there's a relatively small body. This is called a spinning top because, well, it looks like a spinning top. It looks like what you might call a dreidel. It looks like one of those little tops that you spin. These are actually very important signals, and the reason they're very important signals is because they indicate indecision in the market. They indicate that the market is, well, indecisive and that it doesn't really know where it wants to go. It indicates that there's a stalemate going on between the bulls and the bears. The reason is this long upper shadow indicates that the bulls tried and failed, and this long lower shadow indicates the bears tried and failed. A lot of times you'll see it showing up at the bottom of a trend, and the reason you'll see it show up at the bottom of a trend or at the top of a trend is because when the market is moving up, before it can move down, there's a moment up there where you're not moving at all. That's what this looks like. When you're moving down, before you can start moving up, there's a moment where you're not moving at all. And that's what we're seeing right here. So there is actually an argument to be made that we may have already found our bottom at $38,500. The reason, and this is a great question, Tim, the reason that I think that we might be headed down to between $36,000 and $38,000 is because we've seen such a major rally. That just typically seems to be about the percentage that you would see pull back. A lot of times you'll see the market pull back about a third to maybe 2/5 of the way that it moved to the upside. So that means that if we move to the upside, $12,000, then we might be expecting to see Bitcoin move to the downside between $3,000 and $5,000. If we move down, between about $3,000 and $5,000. So if we did that, then we would probably move somewhere between $40,000 all the way down to maybe $37,000, which is roughly where I'm seeing. That prediction of moving down to those support levels is based off of where the support levels are, not so much a whole lot else. But there is one thing that I do want to show you, and that's this. Bitcoin broke above the 100 daily simple moving average right here. I'm going to turn off the 200 just to make it clear. We broke above the 100 daily simple moving average for the span of 3 days, and we're currently below it. So this is an important thing. Bitcoin breaking above this is actually very important because the 100 daily simple moving average is oftentimes the thing that maintains the bull market as a level of support. Notice back during 2016 and 17, we would consistently stay above this level, and if we fell below it, we wouldn't fall below it very far or for very long. We would consistently bounce off of it, and it would be the level that the market would generally pull back to for us to continue the rally. Now, in this case, we've fallen far below the 100 daily simple moving average, and a lot of people have used this to say that we are now in a bear market. I don't think that's true. I think we're in a bull market, but we rallied too far too quick and we needed a correction. In this case, getting above the 100 daily simple moving average would be a very major step for the bulls. And luckily, even though we're not currently above it, we are very close. We did manage to break above it. And another thing, notice we had a non-engulfing candlestick right here. We saw a major green candlestick and then a much smaller red candlestick. This indicates that the bears are in charge, but not by very much. This movement over the last 3 days shows that the bears are in power, but they're not very strong. This is exactly what we want to see. Bitcoin moved to the upside 40%, $12,000 in 10 days, and whenever you see that happen, there needs to be a correction. Luckily for us, this correction looks like it's probably going to bottom out here around the next somewhere around $37,000 to $38,500. The other thing I want to point out is the Fibonacci, and I want to look for some levels of support here. If we bring out the Fibonacci, we can see that there are several levels of support that we could be looking for. Namely, the 23.6% level, which is where we are right now, is sitting exactly where we are right now. In fact, Bitcoin is currently trading at $39,457. This is sitting at $39,463. So this is the level that we're bouncing off of right now. It very well may hold. If it doesn't, then we also find another level, which is the 38.2% level, which is the most likely retracement that Bitcoin would go to, sitting right around $37,500. Now, like I said, guys, there is a strong argument to be made about, okay, we're going to bottom out at 39.5, or we're going to bottom out at 36.5, or we're going to bottom out at 38 or 38.5. point is, it doesn't really matter where exactly the bottom is. The point is that Bitcoin is going through a small retracement, and I think we're going to rally from here. Personally, I think that we'll probably move to the downside for the next couple of days, and then we'll start heading back up towards $50,000. I think by the end of the week, we'll probably be back up close to around 42,000, which is where my price prediction for the end of the week is going to come in, which we'll get to a little bit later. Where do you think we're heading by the end of the week, Tim? Do you have your prediction set up?
I don't have the official number necessarily. I'm going to hold off till the end to give my official number and even make sure I iron it in. But I don't know, because the more I say, I get mad is I'm looking at what you're doing, and I'm like, okay, I see what he's saying here. I understand the reasoning as to it going down. However, I'm also, the things I'm looking at, I also see reasoning, with the combination of Wyckoff. My gosh, man, I just got the video clip of you. I'm watching the stream at the same time as you guys.
I thought he was sending that to me discreetly. I didn't realize he switched to himself. If you look at a couple things if you're following Wyckoff and if you're looking at things on the chart, like for example, the level of ascending support that we have going, is it the most perfect level of support? No, but it is a level of support. I think there's a good argument to say we're going to go up. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying up to like 50 or 60 and hit new all-time highs by the end of the week or anything, but I do think potentially up.
We're actually going to $100,000 by tomorrow, Tim.
That would be amazing.
That's how you get likes on a video, Listen, you just say, hey, we're going to 100K.
I would love for that to happen, and my prediction be 100% wrong.
I would be very, very
happy. I would love if your prediction for Bitcoin by the end of the week is 100,000.
Is it?
That'd
his
be
prediction
phenomenal.
by the end of the week?
Definitely not, because I don't even think it's going to hit 100,000 by the end of the year.
Ooh.
Well,
unpopular opinions coming in from Smate. No, I'm kidding. I think it's probably going to hit it around the end of the year, maybe on into quarter one. Here's an interesting piece of data that I want to show you guys. Let's jump onto my screen. Bitcoin currently has an uptrend going on here on Google Trends. In fact, we saw it bottom out around 28, and we're now sitting all the way up at 39. That indicates that we've seen nearly a 50% increase in the amount of search traffic coming into Bitcoin. And that makes a whole lot of sense because the number of addresses on Bitcoin is going up majorly, and the price action is going up. And by the way, one of the very interesting metrics that we look at here is our own channel. One of the things that we look at, let's go to full screen if we're not. One of the interesting things that we look at is we look at our subscriber metrics, we look at our viewership metrics, we look at our concurrent metrics, how many people are watching the stream. And right now, there's 1,800 people watching the stream only 15 minutes after we went live. By the way, smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We look at those things because the thing that drives Bitcoin adoption are adopters. How many people are in the cryptocurrency space matters. It's very important. There are a lot of people interested in cryptocurrency right now compared to a month ago. Now, not as many as compared to 4 months ago, but there's a lot of people that are like, oh, hang on a second. Bitcoin's actually doing something. Maybe I should check this out. Oh, look, my portfolio's up 25%. Yay. Hey, maybe I'm not unprofitable anymore like I was. People are starting to pay attention to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency again, and that's a good sign. And by the way, here's another sign. Let me show you this. Cash App's quarterly Bitcoin revenue triples despite Bitcoin impairment loss for Square. This is an interesting adoption article, and so too is the one that I'm going to be talking about with El Salvador here in a second. Jack Dorsey's Square made more than 90% more gross profits than the same period last year, with $546 million coming from Cash App's Bitcoin services alone. That's big. Let's read on. Jack Dorsey Square has reported a 200% increase in Bitcoin revenue for the second quarter year on year. The company announced the impressive earnings figure in its second quarter shareholder letter on Sunday. In the report, Square revealed its total gross profit grew 91% year on year to $1.14 billion. Bitcoin services drove $2.72 billion for revenue for the app, with a gross profit of $55 million and respective increases of 210% and 223% respective year on year. Cash App generated a gross profit of $546 million overall, up 94% year on year. Bitcoin revenue and gross profit benefited from year-over-year increases in the price of Bitcoin and Bitcoin activities and growth in customer demand. That word, customer demand, is the point we want to make here. Bitcoin has seen a major uptick in usage, not just hodling. The reason that this is so important is because for the last 12, 13 years that Bitcoin's been around, it was first mined on January 3rd, 2009. Ever since that day, most of Bitcoin has been hodled. The vast majority of Bitcoin has been sat in a wallet somewhere not doing anything, which is a good thing because it means Bitcoin's taken out of circulation. It means people are betting on it in the long run. I'm not bashing people that hodl. I'm a hodler. That's the point of being a store of value. But The other thing that we want to see Bitcoin doing is being a medium of exchange. Those are two of the major properties of a currency. You have a medium of exchange, a store of value, and a unit of account. You want to see Bitcoin complete all three. The US dollar is a medium of exchange and a unit of account, but it's not a store of value. Bitcoin right now is a unit of account and a store of value, but it's barely a medium of exchange because nobody uses it. I'm sorry if I went over your head on the top on the words there. Basically, all I'm saying is that people need to use Bitcoin. If we want it to be mass adopted, then people need to start adopting it. This is a good example of people actually adopting it. People would not be spending so much money through transaction fees with Cash App if they weren't actually moving it and using it. The reason Cash App was able to generate this much value, this much money in revenue is because people are paying for things in Bitcoin. That's exactly what we want to see. That is a very good sign. I'm not concerned about Cash App's financials. I couldn't care less. What I am concerned about is that this is just another piece of evidence that the adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is pushing forward, and anyone who is invested in Bitcoin for the long run is going to be very glad that they did. We have a couple of super chats I want to go ahead and read. Tim, do you have those?
Yes, I do. We got one from Liberty Above All saying.
We already
did that one. Sorry, my bad. We have one from Hidre Nagpal. I hope I pronounced that right. Do you have thoughts on how long this run will be like? Like BitBoy spoke about how this bull run will be short. A short one until about mid-September. Also love from India. Love your show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the donation and the question. First of all, guys, if you are enjoying today's stream, make sure to smash that like button. Let's see if we can't get to 1,000 likes. We have 2,000 people watching live. I know we can do it. If you hit that like button, then you will get your very own unicorn. That our legal team is telling me that I'm not allowed to promise that, but it is a definite maybe. As far as when the bull market will end, Ben thinks that it's going to end mid-September. I respectfully completely disagree with him. And the reason is what I just talked about with Cash App. Now, where Ben is getting the idea that the bull market will end by the end of mid-September is based on halvings. I've talked to him personally about this off camera. He thinks that, and he said this on camera, so this isn't anything new. He believes that we're going to end there because of the amount of time that's elapsed since the last halving. Generally speaking, you go about 643 days is like the average length of a bull market after a halving. And look, I'm a technical analyst. I've built my entire career on predicting things based off of the past. But the thing we have to keep in mind is that that is not an exact science. There's a reason I call technical analysis an art form and not a science. It's because you can't blindly, and I'm not saying that Ben is doing this blindly. I am saying I disagree with him. He's not doing this blindly, but you can't blindly say this is what this trend has been doing, therefore it's going to continue. Now, we don't have any evidence that it's not going to continue either, but I think it's difficult to say that we're going to end in mid-September just because of the one trend that it's a certain amount of days after the halving event. I think there's so much more going on in the space right now than there was back then. If we were going to end the bull market in mid-September, then why not just call $65,000 the end of the bull market? I don't think we're going to break $65,000 by mid-September. I might be wrong. We might be trading up there somewhere, but I'd be very surprised if we, and by the way, I'd be very surprised if we broke $65,000 and then immediately went into a bear market. If we rallied that quickly in 45 days, then you would think that we're in the beginning of a bull market again, or in a major uptick of the bull market, and you would think there'd be so much exuberance moving into the space that we would see a parabolic run to 100K. I don't think we're going to be topping out at $65,000 in mid-September. I think the bull market is going to last quite a bit longer than that because I think the market is shifting. We're seeing a lot more institutional and fundamental adoption and retail adoption in the last 2 years than we ever saw in 2017.
Do you think we even get to 65 in September?
No, I honestly don't.
That was my thing. Is if it's over in September, I would say then this was just a small correction of a complete whole bear market.
Exactly. And by the way, I don't know if Ben's prediction is that it hits $65,000 in September. I have no idea what his prediction is on that. He does believe the bull market will end in mid-September, but yeah, I just don't agree with it, to be honest with you. What do you think, Tim?
No, I mean that's that. Okay, so what I was just saying was if it is true that there will be because if he's saying it's over in the end of September, which as someone did correct, they said it wasn't mid-September, is the end. Okay. That's extra 14 days. If it doesn't get back. Okay, I don't think it's going to get to 65 by then, first of all. Second of all, if it goes down after that, from maybe by that point we're seeing it 50, 55.
Yeah.
Maybe we had like a wick hit 60.
Yep.
I'm like, this wasn't a bull cycle, a bull run at all.
Yeah,
because he's saying that the bull run's going to make it to mid. I'm like, no. You just had a massive recovery
from the bear market that started 2 months ago, apparently.
And it's going to be severe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, again, I have not been in the game as long as Ben. I know Ben has sources and Ben has resources and things that I don't have. However, I don't agree with the idea that would happen. If it does happen, it would break a lot of the things that have been happening.
Someone said,
make sense.
Matthew Barrett said, Ben is talking about it ending due to a black swan event and is calling 100K. You know, Ben did say that he was predicting it was going to rally before this little rally that we're in started. I think I remember him talking about that. I could be wrong. I don't want to attribute something that's not true.
Wait, he predicted the rally we just saw?
In the last 10 days. I think he did. I think he was saying, like, my sources are saying that in mid-August we're going to see a big rally or something, or early August or something we're going to see a big rally. I don't know his sources, you know? So, and by the way, Ben, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, but someone clip this, you're a freaking genius because this whole sources thing, everybody's talking about it. I think his sources are real. I'm not even saying they're made up. I'm just saying it's hilarious because everybody's like, Ben's sources are our turtles.
Smay has his own sources.
Yeah, Smay, what are your sources telling you?
I don't have a mic, man. I'm not supposed to say something.
Just yell.
Oh. My sources are telling me that Bitcoin is going to go into a turtle market.
A turtle market?
And I mean that seriously. That I think the price movements are going to be a lot slower than people are used to for the rest of the year. And that I suspect that we're going to probably top out December 31st at somewhere around $75,000.
I thought you were going to say $69,420.
And that is my prediction for the end of the year. I do not think we're going to hit 100K this year.
You heard it here first, folks. We're going into a turtle market.
I love even, you're talking about, conspiracy theories, you're talking about Ben and his sources. What about Smay and his mic? I've seen a lot of people complain about that. We are getting him another mic. The mic that we had,
working on the microphone.
It was a good mic. It broke, and we have another one. We cannot tell you the reasons why we have not gotten a hold of the other mic.
But it's very annoying.
We have another mic, and I wish I could tell you the story. It just wouldn't probably be a good story to tell.
Yeah. No, it's an annoying story, but it wouldn't be appropriate. Everybody, Ben is BitBoy Crypto. I call him Ben because I know him. But either way, guys, we got a lot more that we want to move on to. Real quick, if you guys are liking the stream, like the stream. Let's see if we can't get to 1,000 likes. We very much appreciate everybody tuning in who is here. Thank you so much for joining. I want to tell you really quickly what we stand for because I think it's very important if you're going to spend time with someone that you know what they mean and what they stand for. Here's what we stand for. We stand for integrity. We stand for humility. We stand for giving you top-notch educational and coverage content so that you can make the best decisions here in the cryptocurrency space possible so you can make the most money, provide for your community, your family, and your customers, and everybody around you. We want to make your life better. So if that's something that you can stand behind, make sure to smash that subscribe button, and let's continue. I've got an article here coming from Bank of America, interestingly enough. BOA outlines 4 potential benefits of El Salvador's Bitcoin strategy. This is an interesting one. And I was reading this morning trying to figure out, why is a bank saying that El Salvador has benefits from Bitcoin? I haven't figured it out yet, but as we read on, we might have some idea. There's some very important points in here that I want to make. So you pump the brakes if you're thinking about they're talking about El Salvador again. We've heard it a million times. There's some new things here that you haven't heard covered on this channel, and you're going to want to know about it. More than 70% of the adult population of El Salvador does not have a bank account, reads the latest global research report from BOA. For that reason, democratizing access to electronic payments through Bitcoin has a progressive touch. They're absolutely right. BOA, one of the nation's largest financial institutions based on total assets, believes El Salvador could have a lot to gain with its latest foray into Bitcoin. In a report published last week, analysts at the bank said El Salvador's decision to recognize Bitcoin as legal tender could streamline remittances, promote financial digitization, provide customers with greater choice, and open the country to American firms and digital currency miners. The bank noted, and this is the point I wanted to make with this article. The bank noted that remittances account for a staggering 24% of El Salvador's GDP, but a sizable chunk of that goes towards transaction fees. Using Bitcoin for remittances could potentially reduce transaction costs compared to traditional remittances channels, which is really interesting coming from a bank because they're the ones making money from those fees. The report said, according to an image provided by state-backed Diario El Salvador, the idea that Bitcoin could be used as an intermediary for cross-border transfers so that dollars are converted to Bitcoin by the sender and then converted back to dollars domestically by the receiver. El Salvador El Presidente, that's in Spanish. I can't speak Spanish. I'm going to butcher it. In June of last year, El Salvador became the first nation to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. You already knew that, but here's the point. El Salvador has a quarter of its gross domestic product coming from remittances. If you don't know what a remittance is, it's basically a fancy word for cross-border payments. There is a lot of money going to El Salvador from family members in other countries that have more opportunities than people in El Salvador do. And when you have 25% of your gross domestic product coming from remittances, the fees on those remittances are very important. Now, remittances are not as expensive as some people make them out to be. A lot of the very expensive remittances are bank-to-bank transfers. That's what XRP is attempting to solve, by the way. Not the cryptocurrency. I'm sorry, not XRP. Ripple, the company, is trying to solve through its products, XVX, RapidX, everything. The point here is that if there's 25% of GDP coming into El Salvador through remittances, there might be as much as 1% of their gross domestic product being spent on fees. You know how big of a deal that is? You realize the U.S. government spends 1% of its revenue for the federal government, not GDP, 1% of revenue for the federal government on NASA? NASA makes up like 0.25% of GDP. Many, many, many very important things in our nations make up 1% of GDP. You know what 1% of gross domestic product can do? That's a big amount of money. Now, I don't know what the exact number is, but the point is those fees are costing the El Salvadorans and their families a lot of money. And they're very right when they say that Bitcoin can help with this, because there are billion-dollar transactions that happen all the time where people spend $5 on Bitcoin transfers because it doesn't matter how much Bitcoin is being moved. It's not a percentage fee. It's a flat fee. And this is a big deal. This is another one of the reasons why I think Bitcoin is going to be mass adopted starting in South America and Southeast Asia and Africa, because there is a lot of money flowing into these nations from the more developed countries of the world. 75% of GDP comes out of three places: the Eurozone, China, and America. Much of the rest of the world is nowhere near as wealthy as we are, and that's a very sad thing. But there's a lot of money flowing into those nations from the more developed world, and those fees and the transaction times and all of the headaches that come from the traditional banking system can be helped cleared up by Bitcoin. This is a big deal, and I think we're going to see a lot of adoption for exactly this reason. Tim, what are your takes on the whole El Salvador thing? We've been talking about El Salvador for a long time. I don't want to repeat ourselves.
Yeah,
but
I think you're specifically asking about the thing saying that El Salvador might have problems with this new adoption, right?
Yeah, well, that, but also what do you, just in general, what do you have any thoughts on El Salvador in general?
So I'll answer that one first, because that's what I thought you were asking. You know, the news, because if you look on it, you're going to see articles almost daily talking about, oh, you know, the IMF and all these other agencies say that El Salvador might be in trouble. It is nothing more than FUD. This is like the epitome of like, why are there so many children who struggle in life? Because when they're young, they're told that you won't do anything.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, too many children listen to those, because that's the whole thing, is that they listen. It's the people that have control and power over them that tell them those things. And so when you get told that day after day after day, you start to believe it. Yeah. I'm really hoping El Salvador just stays strong and says, you know what? I'm going to stop listening to FUD. We've even had people chat on here. We have not had millions of people chat on here, but we've had people say on here, listen, I am from El Salvador. This is FUD. Yeah. This is not true. All this stuff that they're saying, them saying that there's a large majority of people living here that don't want this is not true. Mm-hmm. I think this is nothing more than there's a large entity that does not want El Salvador or any other country to use Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And so it's, hey, we have control of the press. Let's write a narrative. Let's tell a story. Let's discourage people, and let's hope it works.
Yeah. Yeah. No, someone, Max44TV said 1% of El Salvador GDP is about $246 million. You know how many roads, how many hospitals you could build for that? You know how much better the quality of life for the El Salvadorans could be if they had that much more money? That there's a lot of value in El Salvador using Bitcoin. Nick just donated $2, said Telcoin is an ERC20 token mostly based on remittances. Yeah, I haven't studied Telcoin too much, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it. There's a lot of cryptocurrency projects that are tackling just that cause. How many people how much money is used on remittance payments for these less wealthy nations. And look, guys, I would not be surprised if in the next couple of years we start seeing more nations like Panama and Paraguay and Uruguay and Chile and Argentina talking about adopting Bitcoin in some capacity. Maybe not a full-on legal tender and replacement of currency like we saw happen in El Salvador, but a major adoption event going on. There is a lot of good that the U.S. dollar, that Bitcoin can do for the world, and I genuinely believe that Bitcoin can be the conduit to making that happen. Now, look, guys, there is a lot to cover here, so we're going to move on. But really quickly, before we jump onto my chart, I want to grab a couple of articles here, and I want to talk about this infrastructure bill going on in America, because there has been a lot of conversation going on about this infrastructure bill going on here in the U.S. It's a $1 trillion package. You guys got my 2 cents, my 3 cents, my 4 cents, and all 5 of them, too, last week when I started complaining about the government running a $3 trillion deficit. I'm going to leave that soapbox in the closet. However, I do want to talk about this because there are some concerns about the way that this bill is drafted, and I want to go ahead and read about them. Updated U.S. infrastructure bill narrows crypto reporting requirement. An updated draft of the controversial crypto reporting requirement clarifies that brokers effectuate transfers of digital assets, but stops short of explicitly excluding miners or other parties that don't provide customer transactions. Now, I want to be clear on something, because I said this last time, and I don't want to hear any comments about this. Number one, I am not against taxes. Pay your taxes. Taxes are a necessary evil to live in a civilized society. I am not against taxes. What I am against are taxes not being used appropriately and us having our wealth from the future stolen from us through massive inflation. That's what I have a problem with. And number two, I'm not against the government. I'm not an anarchist. I don't think we should try and live in a world without a government. I think that that would be very bad. I don't think that that would work. Everybody can be an anarchist right up until something bad happens and there's no ambulance to come and pick you up, right? I think that governments are a good thing if they are run correctly, which is almost never. But nevertheless, the point is, governments and taxes I'm not opposed to. What I am opposed to are governments using taxes incorrectly and not helping the people with them. That is my TLDR of the spiel I gave last week. Nevertheless, the point we're making here is not about that. It's actually about regulatory clarity, because this bill might actually be bringing some regulatory clarity to how taxes should be paid in cryptocurrency. This is something that needs to happen, because currently there is not much clarity around how cryptocurrency taxes work. And by the way, there's not much clarity in the vast majority of CPA offices about it either. You know, this is tangential, but it's important. I was talking to my CPA 2 years ago, and I was talking to him about crypto, and he admitted, like, hey, I need to study more on crypto. I don't know much about it. It's a new space. And we were joking about how long the tax code is. And he's like, yeah, it's like this tall. And he told me, I've been working in the tax field for 25 years, and I haven't read the whole thing. How do you... We're good. Anyway, this will hopefully bring some regulatory clarity to cryptocurrency. An updated version of the U.S. Senate's bipartisan infrastructure bill narrows the definition of broker for the purposes of crypto tax collection, but stops short of specifying that only companies that provide services for customers qualify. The bill, which is being debated by the Senate, funds around $1 trillion in infrastructure improvements across the country, which I'm all for infrastructure improvements, but I'm also for not running a massive deficit, and would be paid for in part by a $28 billion $28 billion in taxes generated from crypto transactions. I have no problem with cryptocurrency paying their fair share of the burden in taxes. An earlier version of the bill sought to do this by boosting information reporting requirements and broadening the definition of a broker for tax purposes to include any parties that might interact with crypto, including decentralized exchanges or other non-custodial service providers. An updated version of the bill now specifies that only people who provide digital asset transfers would be treated as a broker, according to a copy of the bill obtained by CoinDesk. In other words, the language now does not explicitly include decentralized exchanges, but it also doesn't explicitly exclude miners, node operators, software developers, or similar parties. So here's the couple of context clues that you need for this. Number one, a bit of context you need for this. Number one, this is still a draft. It's still being worked on. But there is some very uncertain language in here. You know, the reason that we were, in a way, actually kind of happy about this was that we were at least going to understand how we were going to be taxed in cryptocurrency. It was inevitable that the government was going to start getting their hands in crypto. We knew that. I've been preaching that ever since I started the channel. Regulation is coming. Let's just try and make sure it's clear and conducive to the growth of crypto. What we're seeing now is that instead of regulatory clarity, it seems like there's more regulation coming with regulatory uncertainty. It seems like there might be more regulation coming, and we don't even know how it's going to happen. You see, this is why we need Bitcoin, because Bitcoin democratizes the financial power of the world and puts us back in our hands, not into the hands of the elite who don't have our best interests at heart. You know, it's really sad what goes on in politics. The amount of good people that go into politics and then all of a sudden they just get hit by a train and they are completely different people is very, very sad. This is not a political channel, so I'll leave it at that. That happens on both sides, by the way. It's not a political statement at all. That's a bipartisan statement right there. What I'm concerned about is that we might be about to see more regulation coming into crypto that's not clear. That's something that I want to hear your takes on in the comments. What do you guys think about this bill? It's been all over the news over the last couple of days here in cryptocurrency. I would love to hear your takes on that in the comment section down below. Tim, do you have any thoughts on all this that is just anything? I know it's not a very well-guided question.
Yeah. When it comes to regulation,
yeah, what we're seeing here with regulation and the regulatory clarity or not.
I mean, I would say the first thing is look at any other country. I don't think America is special or different. Every other country where there is ridiculously negative regulation, crypto seems to go to boom and to explode. So I think that potentially what you have, when you're looking at the U.S. at least, they see that, they realize that. You can say what you want. Again, just as Jeb just said, this is not a political statement because this is bipartisan. Say what you will about anyone in politics, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, any of them. They're not idiots. They might be wrong, and they might have agendas, but they're not idiots.
Yep.
And I know it's fun to look at certain ones of them and say, oh, how'd this person get here? Listen, they don't get there without being at least a form of intelligent.
Yeah.
They want to stay in power. They want to, they do not want to lose their job. And if they piss off the wrong people, they will lose their job. If they do things that are wrong over a period of time, they realize they will lose their job. I think they are looking at this very clearly. I think you see people like Elizabeth Warren, who she's just saying, I don't understand what's happening here.
Yeah.
I want to understand what's happening here. Because that's a big thing, is when you're used to having control and you don't understand what's happening, you lose control and it freaks you out. So that's what I think we're seeing, is a lack of understanding in our government and our politicians freaking out because they're losing control. As soon as they, that breeds to them educating themselves, learning more and more about it, learning more about what their people want. I think there's going to be some confusing regulation, but I really do think that even the United States is in a boat of saying, hey, we can't stop this train.
Yeah.
Our best bet is to jump on with it.
Agreed.
And to try to keep as many people safe as possible. So I'm hoping that every bit of regulation is actually constructive and helpful and not vague. But I do fear that there's going to be some vagueness to it because, again, if I'm kind of crypto, Tim, I'm just learning they're not crypto. We have non-crypto politicians trying to make laws about it.
That's
so
true.
Give them some time to figure it out.
Yeah. No. The interesting thing, Aaron said that. I think it was Aaron from Altcoin Daily said this on Around the Blockchain last week. He said that we were talking about PayPal, and I actually have some other articles that we're not going to go over today from PayPal. That he was talking about how PayPal is very much in cahoots with the government, not in a bad way. They just are very. They're a financial institution, so they're very intimately aware of what's going on Capitol Hill with politicians. And PayPal would not be moving in such an aggressive way towards adopting Bitcoin and cryptocurrency if they thought that Bitcoin was going to get banned or regulated to high hell. They have an insider view, and we don't know what their inside view is saying, but we can see by their actions what they believe. PayPal seems to believe that we are going to have a strong environment to do business here in cryptocurrency. So this is the good news, is that based on what major institutions are doing, such as New York Stock Exchange parent company ICE, Intercontinental Exchange, launching back a couple of years ago, there are some major power players that are willing to do massive business here in cryptocurrency, and they probably wouldn't be willing to do that if they had some kind of information that the government was just going to flat out ban Bitcoin or try and attack it. So that's the good news. The good news is, even though we might be seeing specific bills that are very unclear and written strangely, at least in the long run, it seems like the government of America, anyway, isn't going to try and stifle cryptocurrency adoption. It looks like they're trying to put up framework to allow it to grow, and that is the good news here. The question is, how long does that last? Because Bitcoin, depending on how you look at it, is a threat to the hegemony of the U.S. dollar. I would not be surprised at all to start seeing U.S. dollars show up in world reserve currencies around the world, maybe 1-2% here in the next couple of years, in the next decade or so. The U.S. dollar makes up 65% of global currency reserves right now. The Chinese currency makes up like 2%. There's not many other currencies that make up world reserves that have a world reserve status. Bitcoin might actually end up becoming part of that, and if it does, it could be a threat to the U.S. dollar. So we'll see here in the next 5 or 10 years how the regulatory landscape develops. I think in general, though, it is going to be positive for Bitcoin, and that's the good news.
Yep. The other good news to remember is there are some really powerful people, for example, with gosh, why did I blank on his name? The head of Twitter, Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey.
Homeless-looking
guy.
has literally said If I need to, I will leave Twitter for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Again, he has done a lot of political things.
Like him or hate him,
He has
he's
made a lot of
powerful.
enemies and a lot of friends, and I think he's made a lot of friends with the side that a lot of people are afraid will not want to accept crypto. So I think there's even going to be some pressure from the politicians' friends saying, "Hey, go light on this one. Help us out. We'll teach you." You know.
Yep. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Let's go ahead and read some super chats.
Yeah,
By the
we
way,
got
guys, if you're enjoying today's stream, smash that like button. We appreciate it.
And then we'll jump into. I know after that unless you have something else, we probably can jump into our predictions.
We can do that.
Did we read the one from Nick Reciputo, the Telecoin?
Yes, we did.
We did. Did Jedi Knight Ozzy Todd?
No, we didn't.
All right, Jedi Knight Ozzy Todd said, "G'day, mates.
G'day, mate.
Thoughts on Cosmos?"
No, hang on. You got to read the whole thing in that accent.
I don't.
G'day, mates. Thoughts on Cosmos?
G'day, mates is an easy one to replicate. I don't know if I know how they say every other word. Thoughts on Cosmos was bullish on it for a while, but after learning about its inflation, 7 to 20%, I'm kind of thinking about turning it over.
I don't know a whole lot about Cosmos. In fact, I know nothing about Cosmos. But if it actually does have 7 to 20% annual inflation, I would be careful. By the way, before you make any trades, I don't know the first thing about Cosmos. So take what I just said with a grain of salt. But yeah, I don't want to spread rumors.
Mark Swain just donated money. Yeah,
Mark Swain.
Didn't even want
Let's
to
go.
say anything.
Mark
So,
Swain. He's the brother of Mark Twain.
I don't think that's how brothers work.
All
right. Max 44
It is in North
TV.
Korea. It is in North Korea. Everybody's named Kim over there.
I don't know if everyone's named Mark over there, though.
That's true.
Max 44 TV said, seriously, Bitcoin store of value, Ethereum, or a type of ETH, new internet, Doge becomes world currency. It was around 4 years. Elon is smart. There's a reason why he picked it. Thoughts?
He picked it because he thought it was funny. Elon Musk has a very powerful
Talking about
sense
Doge?
of humor.
Oh, yeah. No,
he picked it because it was funny.
he
And he's right,
clarified
it
that.
is funny.
He
He even
clarified
said that. He said the reason I bought Dogecoin is because it was a meme.
He likes dogs and he likes memes.
And there's a Dogecoin
yeah.
coin. I remember back in 2014 when the Doge meme came around. I loved that meme. Now I hate it. I hate that meme. I'm done with Dogecoin. I'm so tired of talking about it. Not really. I like Doge.
Yeah.
I like Doge the meme, not the coin.
Last one I have here, unless I've seen a new one pop up while I was reading these. Matt C said, I completely agree with Tim. Staying in power and control is the ultimate goal of politicians. Smash the likes.
Smash them likes. That is true.
Yeah.
That is how
it's
that
sad,
goes.
but that's
it's
but
true.
the only good news, the only good thing about that is, maybe even crypto can help us get back to that. At the end of the day, and this probably will reveal my political views, but I don't even care. Government was put into place to serve us, the people, not us to serve the government. So I actually love when politicians get a little bit squirmy and worried about their approval rating.
Oh, yeah.
Because that means that
Good.
we have the power. When they stop worrying about their approval rating
You're
because
right.
we just do everything they say,
You're
that's
right.
when we should be a little scared.
Absolutely. Amen to that, Tim. Drop a +1 in drop a +1 Tim in chat for that one. I can speak today. Tim, is it time for price predictions?
Oh, I feel so bad. Mark Swain, I wish I could find it. Mark Swain, if you want to repeat your... He says my comment didn't go into the super chat for some reason.
Oh,
it's
let's
in
read
normal
it.
chat. So but I don't see it, so I'm going to have to get him
looking
to
for it.
repost it.
Yeah, Mark Swain, say it again, bud. I'm looking for it too.
But yes, what did you say? The next do predictions?
I said we should go ahead and jump into predictions.
All right. Well, here's the thing. So we usually in the past we had them written down on paper. We've decided beforehand. This one we're deciding during.
Mm-hmm.
So can we, like Smitty, you have yours ready to go? All right. So we all have like the honor code going. We're not going to listen to someone's prediction.
Nope, I'm good.
And bounce off of it.
down.
Sweet. Okay. So, well, if yours are written down, Smay, why don't we start with you?
Someone said, "Oh no, Tim, a libertarian." Color me shocked.
You got me.
You got him.
You got me.
Roasted.
All right. Let me label these.
Gosh, we haven't
Here, let me
erased this in so
go
long.
first because I don't have mine written down,
Oh, true.
and I also am making them up as I go. So we can jump onto my
No,
chart.
I
while I'm
have
doing
my
them.
numbers. I have my numbers set in my brainium.
Can we jump onto the chart so I can show people?
We're on the chart.
Oh, I am. Oh my gosh, look, it's the chart. Okay, so guys, I am doing some TA on the fly right now to figure out where I think we're going to go. I did some TA on Bitcoin earlier, so I'm not going to do a ton more now. I'm just going to kind of go based off of what I said earlier. I see Bitcoin. I really don't think the bottom is as low as.
You think it's gonna go a little lower?
No, I think it's probably above $37,500 to be honest.
Okay.
Which I talked about going down to 36.5 earlier. I don't know. It could.
It's hard when the HODL trophy's on the line, you know?
It is 41.5.
Wow.
41
That
and a half.
super sucks.
Does it for me or you?
Just, okay.
Okay. Okay. All right, moving on to Ethereum here.
No. We're not gonna do all three. We'll each do our Bitcoin.
Okay.
Okay. What's yours, Smay?
Well, you go first.
I was said 42.
No.
42.
And I have a reason for it. If you look at that level, historically Fridays we go down. 42, I think it's a little closer to 41.8, so that's why it's going to be right between us, but I decided to go up instead. 42,000 is right along, if that level of support continues and we come back down and test that level of support on Friday around 8 o'clock, which is the closest we can get to 9 o'clock, obviously, with 4-hourly prediction. If we come down and test that, it should be sitting right around that 41.8, which is why I'm like, okay, potentially we could hit it and bounce back up by 9:30. So that's my reason for 4,200. So it sounds, I bet we came into those numbers by different reasonings, though. I don't know if that's the reason you came up with yours.
It was not.
All right, Smay, what's your prediction?
When I say mine, can you repeat it so they can hear it?
Yes.
Okay. My price prediction is for Bitcoin is 43,
Gosh darn it.
43,532.
I like my position.
Gosh darn
I
it.
like where I am. Yes.
Why did you guys have to freaking sandwich me?
Repeat it.
Smay's is 43,532, which means, again, Tim has a very slim window of opportunity to win.
Okay, well, while I'm reading my Ethereum one, go ahead and calculate your window. We need to find out what the windows
darn
are.
it.
Oh, poor Tim. All right, guys, I think Ethereum's a few days behind Bitcoin. I think Ethereum's going to have a correction here in the next couple of days. We're going to talk about Ethereum tomorrow, but let the record state, I think Ethereum's going to have a correction tomorrow before tomorrow's stream starts. So I'm going to say on Ethereum, 2580. That's where I think we're going, 2580.
2580.
2580. Yes, sir.
All right. Let me go back to my chart to make sure I was right. Because I'm pretty sure what I said was...
By the way, y'all, I'm winging this week, so don't make any trades based off of my predictions.
All right. Tim is going 28-26.
28-26. Okay.
So here's the reason why. And that's
Really?
I actually fear that might be low.
Really?
Here in 2 days, EIP 5059 and the London hard fork drops.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of anticipation that potentially that could even boost.
But then it's going to dump.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
It's going to dump after that.
Those of you who are wondering if Tim and Jeb ever disagree,
We do
This
now.
is your moment.
This is your moment. We disagree.
your
It's
moment.
going to happen. And it's going to dump.
Say your price prediction again, Tim.
26. So 2,826. What do you got?
What's Jeb's?
2,580.
Mine's 3,000.
No, it's not.
Hold on, proof for the people.
Oh my
Proof for the
gosh.
people.
It's right there.
3,000.
$3,000.
3,000. I swear, Smay, we were supposed to have an alliance.
I saw a Do You Want to Form an Alliance yesterday, Tim.
Gosh,
A meme of that.
darn it.
Poor guy. All right. Cardano. I'm going to pull a number out of a hat, $1.40. $1.40. I literally just pulled a number out of a hat.
Okay, but before we go any further, I just want to note mine is actually $1.40 as well, so we might have to.
Okay. Okay, well, let's hear Tim's first, and then we'll decide.
Mine was $1.45, so I'm happy that I'm not sandwiched here.
I'm doing $1.39.
No, you can't just say
You
that.
can't.
Sure I can.
Just say that.
Sure I
What we can do is, gosh.
Let the record show. I said I changed mine before Smay did.
But let the record show Smay wrote his down, so I feel like Smay should have preference.
Yep, that's right.
Bruh.
Let us know in chat real quick. We will give you guys,
Who
because
gets
we're
to
20
change
seconds delayed.
theirs? Tim or Jeb or Smay?
Jeb or Smay. Smay wrote his down. He came prepared. Jeb said he just
And I
winged
got a
it.
feeling.
He has no
I got a
attachment
feeling.
or heart
Plus
to this
one Smay
whatsoever.
or plus one Jeb. To be fair, I honestly thought 140 was high. I was planning on saying like
I want to
133.
make mine 139. I want my prediction to be 139.
No, we got to hear the people. I will go with whatever the people say. We got to hear the people. Plus one Smay for him or plus one Jeb for me. We got to hear it. Somebody's asking a question, and I definitely want to answer it really quickly. Kushagra? I'm sorry, I might not be pronouncing your name very well. Please help Jeb. I bought Lux Algo from your code and got 20% off, but I didn't know if my settings are good enough. Please help me with stability and agility on different time frames, please. Absolutely. absolutely. Really quickly, I know we're waiting on this, but I do want to show you this.
There's a ton of smays in the chat.
I don't see anything.
I have been blinded.
I'm blind.
All right, so my prediction is officially now 139.
Okay, fine. The agility and sensitivity settings I use, my friend, are 12 for sensitivity, and I use 26 for agility. And these are actually, I think, the default settings when you first like remove the indicator and put it back on. There's a ton of different ways you can change the settings in their Discord, or they have an automatic thing. I found 12 and 26 is the best. That's what's given me these really good signals like these. So I would use 12 and 26 personally. Good question. You were not on my screen that entire time. Okay, well, for anyone who doesn't know what I was saying, 12 is right here on Lux Algo for sensitivity is what I would use, and then 26 on signal agility percentage right here is what I would use, and leave everything else standard. That's how I would use Lux Algo. Now we can go back to full screen me. Okay, so let's go ahead and...
Wait, Tim didn't give his card on it.
Oh, right.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he did. He said 145.
$145.
Okay, so, like, recap all of them.
Yeah, okay. So and I did the math. I haven't done the math on Ethereum yet. It's still not it's a bigger window than Bitcoin. But Jeb came in at 41,500. I came in at 42,000, sandwiched in the middle because Smay said 43,532, which means for me to win, I have a window between 41,750 and 42,766, so just barely $1,000 window. It's
doable.
That's enough of a window that it is doable, but that is
doable.
A hard one.
That's hard.
I'll do the math. The one on Ethereum, I'll have a little bit more room. Actually, now that I say it, no. Like, I'll have, like, literally a $200 window.
That's not even 200.
Is it? No, I think it is, because he said 2580. So I think I have, like, almost everything north of 27 and everything south of, like, 29-ish.
My gosh.
So...
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough. That's rough, Tim.
Gosh darn it. But I mean, hopefully Cardano pulls through for me. I have the highest one there. I think Cardano is the most unpredictable one.
You know, I was originally
going
to say $1.39. I was like, $1.40. Nice, clean round
You can't
number.
do it now.
I know. I can't change it now. It's in stone, but, you know.
We got two more super chats. One from Jebby Knight, Ozzy Todd saying, I miss you, Smay. Broken heart. Thanks for the advice. Ari Cosmos. Brilliant Ozzy impersonation. Shout out to anyone out there who's struggling. It's not weak to speak. Absolutely. That is absolutely true. I was thinking about the other day, actually, before I moved to the last super chat. The point of our channel obviously is to teach you guys crypto, but there's not, crypto is not the end all be all to solve all of the issues that we as humans have. Ultimately, we on this channel, we're Christians, those of us in this room, we're Christians. We believe that Jesus is the answer. And even the whole thing about Jesus, and not without going into a full sermon, giving you guys a full speculation, what Jesus ultimately did was come to heal relationship. And that stems not only from God, but also between us. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like right now, if you feel alone, you are not alone. Like you are loved. There is, even if there's no other human in your vicinity that is going to show you affection, just know from us, we love you. Just know from your Heavenly Father, He loves you. You are not alone. If you need anything, reach out to us.
Yeah, do it.
We would love to pray with you guys, take care of you guys. Yeah, that's something I really has been on my heart recently. There are some people out here who just feel like they're literally no one cares, and that's not true. Anyway, moving on. JD Park. I don't fully understand this one. He says Jeb 3, Smay 3, Tim 1. Oh, he's doing our scorecard. I think he's saying Jeb's gonna win. But he said, "Come on, Tim, cut the tree, burn the truck. Love you guys." But at the moment, I think it's 3 for Jeb, 3 for Smay, 2 for Jeb, 1 for Tim. He is not predicting a Tim win.
We missed one, actually. So
kind of agree, JD. Kind of agree. We have another one?
Yeah, by Chase Christie. Donated $5. Said, hey, Jeb, I'm 19 years old, and I got into crypto earlier this year into coins such as ETH, ADA, and VET. Any more tips for someone sort of new? Yes. I talked about this in the video that went up yesterday. Pick something, bet on it, and just ride that horse. Because a lot of people, they try and jump around from project to project to project. They try and jump around from industry to industry to industry. For example, when I was newer in entrepreneurship, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to build a business. I just didn't know how. I tried Shopify, I tried Amazon FBA, I tried crypto, I tried YouTube, I tried everything. And crypto is what worked. And, there were a lot of times where I almost made the biggest mistake of my career, which was I almost quit. I almost changed what I was doing. I almost looked in a different direction. And the thing that put me where I am today is that I didn't do that. And a lot of people do. So I'm encouraging you, if you are in cryptocurrency and you're 19 years old, I've been where you are, Pick something, bet on it, and just try and become the best you possibly can. Nobody becomes a billionaire by being a jack of all trades. They specialize in something, and then if they want at step 25 to go wide, then that's what they do. But you didn't see PayPal try and do 25 different products. They did one thing. They did internet payments over email, and they rode that for 10 years. You didn't see Apple jump into 500 different spaces. They made personal computers, and they rode that for 20 years. You got to grow tall, and then you can grow wide. That's what I would encourage you to do, is pick something and bet on it. If it's crypto, it's crypto. If it's Amazon, it's Amazon. If it's Shopify, it's Shopify. Just pick something and bet on it, and don't fall for the trap that the grass is greener on the other side, because the grass is a lot greener where you water it. Anyway, or as the name of a book once said, the grass is greener over the septic tank. That is the name of a book. I'm not even kidding. You can buy it on Amazon. Guys, that's all we got for you today. Drop a 1 in chat if you enjoyed today's stream, and also make sure to smash that like button. And by the way, if you haven't already, make sure to follow us on our social media at CryptoJeb over on Twitter and Instagram. We're growing fast over there. In case anything ever happens to the YouTube channel, that's where you'll find us. So that's why it's so important for you to follow us over there. And also follow us on TikTok at CryptoJebOfficial. We're growing quick over there too. Wouldn't want you to miss anything over there. You can also hit the post notification bell if you'd like to be updated whenever the stream goes live. We go live 9:30 Eastern Standard Time every single weekday. Looks like we got one final super chat we can read before we wrap it out. Jason Bullard donated $15. Said, "Do you think it's possible for Bitcoin to fall into a bearish trend while the fundamentals of projects like ADA, XRP, and Ethereum actually breaks the trend and continues bullish and decouples from Bitcoin?" That's kind of what we're seeing happen over the last 3 days. Bitcoin's correcting, Ethereum is rallying. I think that would be more of not so much a decoupling, but it'd be not a major decoupling, but kind of like a shift in the time frame. Sometimes you'll see one market move and then the other market moves a month later. For example, we hit all-time high on Bitcoin December 21st, 2017. We hit all-time high on Ethereum January 8th, 2018, I think, something like that, about 3 weeks later. So it's possible that it's just a bit delayed. We also have another donation from Jessica Garcia. He said, "This is why you guys are my favorite. Amen, brother. Love hearing the faith. Coffee on me again this week." Thank you very much for that, Jessica Garcia. I'm going to go get some coffee as soon as we wrap it out here. Speaking about wrapping it out, though, guys, that's all we got. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.